opening statement, and we'll take some questions.
It's good to see you guys. We're excited about this week. It's a lot of good things on tape, a whole lot we can get better at. I have a lot of respect for this team, this head coach, and their offensive coordinator. I consider a good friend and one of the best at what he does. And so a lot of challenges ahead, but excited to take them on. Take any questions you guys got.
Dave, I know one of your concerns was juggling the defensive play calling duties and your job as a head coach. I mean, how did you feel like it went in game one?
I feel like I can do better. In the past, if something didn't go right, I would be thinking about it a lot and, probably feeling sorry for myself, but also trying to find solutions. And in the role I'm in now, I don't have any time for that. And so you have to have an on and off switch between this hat and the other hat. And so I have to do a better job of that.
Did somebody else get with the defense when they're coming off the field in terms of,
No.
or are you getting with them then too?
Yeah.
You talked about how Saturday was a step. What other steps do you want to see? What milestones do you want to reach to continue taking those steps?
Well, I want to be good. And so, where Tarleton was at, specifically just for defense, and then I guess we could talk about offense, but they were running their base plays, and they had created some quarterback runs because of their injury situation, and it was really kind of up to us to fit it right, and we were running our base stuff too. And so it was, in a lot of ways, probably the first scrimmage of fall camp on both sides, I would think, with just the inventory of plays being run. And so while there was clean things, it needs to be a whole lot cleaner, and communication needs to be better from the ones to the twos. I think there's too big of a drop off right now, and we have to get that better, and there has to be a sense of urgency with getting that better. And then I think offensively, I thought kind of started off really, really strong and physical and energy and chip on the shoulder and all the things we talked about. And then somewhere in there we lost the chip. I don't know. We lost it, and we had to kind of get it back. And so that's something to where, to be great, having been on teams that have been great like that, regardless of the score, regardless of the quarter, regardless of the situation, you go through someone's face, and we're not at that point yet. We have to get there pretty quick.
Coach, what does Cam Rising bring to this offense, or how does he elevate it maybe beyond what two quarterbacks you guys faced last year did?
I think he's equipped to go from a pass to a run. He's equipped to go from run here to run there. I think he knows, rotation. He knows blitz tells. He knows front and how that's tied to the back end. If the front will tip off what the back end's going to be. And so just way smart. He is the captain of that ship. And so he gets them in the right spots, I guess would be the best way to say it. But then, I think running ability is still a factor, and I think his arm strength and his touch is really strong too.
Are there any coaches you've been able to talk to who have worn both hats that you've been able to glean any wisdom from?
Yeah, and they all say it's just hard. I think it's I don't want to make it anything more than what it is, but it's your time constraints, and how a lot of times you want the job to be done before you move to the next job. The way it is right now, if this was a phone, I'd have a bunch of unread messages, and you have to kind of feel okay about that. And I'm used to reading them all,
Last year, y'all found success on the road. Can you just talk about the confidence y'all are feeling heading on the road this week?
I don't know if it's confidence. I think it's more of we got something to prove. I think that we've got a bunch of guys that want to win and want to achieve and want to be that team, and we know that the team we're playing is kind of that team, and so we have to be able to show up with our best. I think we know if we don't, all the stuff that comes with that, and so the ability to be on that stage and do our best, I think everyone's got their eyes set on that.
Can you give status updates on Dom Richardson and Bryson Washington?
I think Bryson's still working through his injury, and then I think Dom is a little bit closer. Too early to tell now for Saturday for Dom.
Dave, you talked about Jackie Marshall the other night. Was that maybe at the top of the feel-good list of just kind of where he's come from and what he was able to do the other night?
Yeah, Jackie's really disruptive, and I think his growth has been tremendous in a bunch of areas. Specifically just for football, he was playing some interior shades and knocking around in there, getting knocked back, pushing guys back, ricocheting off of guys, making plays, and was really, really, really active, and was a force inside as much as he was outside. And for a guy that's way strong, but really maybe he's not big, for him to play big is good. And so it gives us the ability to kind of move around and do a little bit more than maybe you would think.
After the game, Richard Reese said the offense only showed about 50 to 60% of its inventory. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's the case?
Yes. Yeah.
Are there some more wrinkles that y'all are going to show this weekend against Houston?
Yeah, there's a lot more. And I know, this is true for everybody. And so this is true for the team that we're about to play. There's things that you show that your only intention of showing is to hide a tendency, or your only reason for showing is to lead astray from kind of this trail to get them on some other trail, or to build a trap for the other side of it. So there's a bunch of that going on. I think all that goes on until the wins and losses pile up, and then you take what you get from there. But in the beginning, it's all kind of positioning. So I think we're no different than the other.
How would you grade DeQuan, his first start at Baylor?
I thought the positives that he had was his leadership and his attitude. I thought those were strong points. I thought his ability to throw when there's pressure in his face, I thought was good. I think we got to improve when he's got a bunch of time to throw, and that initially hasn't been the case. That kind of popped up, Saturday night, and so I think there's good and bad. The best thing about all of it is that he's way determined and way focused, and Jake and all them are excited about taking the next step with him, because we can see what it can be, and we can see what the possibilities are, and so we're all about that.
Coach, when you have an offense that wants to go fast, and you talked about it, does altitude affect that at all when you go on the road, or is that maybe a little bit overblown in terms of y'all's ability to do that or have to rotate more?
Yeah, I think having depth always helps. I think we've got a few guys that run hot when we do go tempo, and so you need to have depth. And we have a bunch of guys play on Saturday. We have a bunch, O-linemen, running backs, everybody, receivers. And so I think the depth is important to have when you do go fast, because there's certain guys that do run hot, and after a series of going fast, they need a breather. And so I think that's true here. I know that'll be true there too.
Dave, it's unusual to play a conference opponent in a non-conference game.
Mm-hmm.
Anything change about the approach?
No, I have a lot of respect for them. Their physicality and that home environment. It's a tough place to play. It's going to be loud. We've had some game twos and tough places to play. This will be one of them.
Has Trevon gotten better this season, and
Yes.
how important is he for that defensive line unit?
Really strong, yeah. I think off the field, he's probably grown as a leader as much as anybody on our team. And then on the field, his physicality is more. I think he's more of himself now. I think last year was trying to fit in and see this and fit into that, and now he's just kind of letting it rip. And so we'll take that. More of what we saw on Saturday will be good for us.
A lot of the guys that stepped up are wearing those single-digit numbers. What went into assigning those again and bringing that back?
The guys that have those numbers, I mean, they earned it through their performance in spring and their work ethic and accountability during the summer. And that's both on and off the field. That's in the classroom too. And so just really proud of those guys, for the first game, doing all of it. And so, to take the show on the road and do it under bright lights and to do it when no one thinks you can do it, that's the next step.
Would you see for the first game using the tablets and the in-helmet communication?
Yeah, I thought the tablets was a really strong point for adjustments. I felt really good about the adjustments that we were making and kind of the flow of the game and keeping up with the changes. Every those first 3 quarters, every series there was some new wrinkle, there was some new change, and the guys were all locked into that. And it was really that was probably the best part of the game, was just the communication from up top to the down below and the drawing of the diagrams to get it to the players, and then to see if we could execute it that very next series. I think that part probably needs a little bit of work, but I think like the ability to kind of to take what's happening in real time and to get it where everyone can see it, and here's where we're right or here's where we're wrong and here's what we got to do. I'm proud of that.
You talked about, after the game, all the new staff members, all the new players adjusting to that and how much work they've put in. What does that do for the team chemistry and the morale when you do get a win like you did on Saturday?
It lets you, go to sleep, I guess. It lets you rest a little bit, for that night anyways, But you're right back to it. It doesn't really kind of feel like a win. It feels more of like we're just getting started, and there's more to do. And it seems so long ago now.
You did rotate a lot of guys in, but y'all had 11 different guys catch passes. Is that a component of the offense, or was it more just the way the game went in terms of guys coming in?
I think it is both. I think a lot of how the game went, but I think we are going to rotate a bunch of guys. Going back to that original question of just tempo, and we have to have guys that can go in when you have a 12-play drive with a minute 30 or whatever it is. And so to have the fresh legs that can hit in those spots is critical.
DeQuan seemed like he was, there's a lot of trust between him and Michael Trigg in terms of just his ability to go up and get it. What impresses you about what he did week 1 and what he offers you guys in the passing game?
Well, I think when I think of Mike, I think of, I think of a guy that's just embracing the moment, embracing Baylor, embracing, an opportunity. He's had some opportunities, and so this is probably his last one. And so to embrace it, and then to, and to embrace differences. To, if he always went left, to go somewhere where, we're always going right, and this is with off the field and all the things. To embrace that and change, it's hard to do. And so way proud of him for that. And, in the lead up to the game and then during the game, I mean, his smile was a mile wide. He probably had the most fun of any. I need to take some of his fun that he was having, because he was having so much fun prior to the game and during the game and all of it. And, that's contagious, and a lot of the guys saw that. And so I think he's just getting started. He is a weapon.
Do you think that the offensive line, do you think that will continue with the, bringing people in and out? Will that get, with tempo? Does that make sense?
Yeah, with tempo we'll do it, but then I also think we just have to play better too. And I think once we are consistently playing well, then that will coincide with, hey, these are the guys. So I think there's still competition in those areas, especially at those guard positions.
Coach, what's the difference between a season opener and then going into a second game going against a ranked team? Season opener, you've had quite a bit of time. Now you've got this week to get ready to go on the road for this. What's the big difference in the preparations?
Well, one of the big differences is the season opener was basically running, our style offense, and so we had seen that since winter, spring, fall camp, and the offense that we're playing now was the offense in some ways that we saw a year ago, or that we had a year ago, but hadn't seen any of that since December, and so there's a big change there defensively. And then I think it is a quick turnaround. I think today is a lot. Last night it was a lot. Our practice in the morning means that, man, we got to have some answers by tonight to get ready to go for tomorrow morning early, and all of it. And so that part is an interesting part. And I think it's always good to have really strong spring and summer studies that give you a head start on all of that, so that when we get to this phase of it, we have, if it's 1 to 10, we got 6 and 7, and we got to take steps 8 and 9 to get there.